أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العظيم
حي على الصلاة
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله
حي على الفلاح
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله
حي على الفلاح
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله
الله أكبر
الله أكبر
لا إله إلا الله
لا إله إلا الله سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم رب العباد تتهم الصلاة القائمة آتي محمد رسول الله اللهم صل على محمد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي خلقنا وميزنا بالعقل للإدراك والفهم وفضلنا على كثير ممن خلق تفضيلا وخلقنا ذكورا وإناثا وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له قيوم السماوات والأراضين بعث نبيه محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم رحمة للعالمين عليه وآله وسلم عبد الله ورسوله ما بعد. Brothers and sisters in Islam, we thank the Almighty Allah for another opportunity to be here. We thank Him for His mercies that He's bestowed upon us. We bear witness that there is no deity worthy of worship except the Almighty Allah. We also bear witness that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is His servant and His messenger. Whosoever the Almighty Allah guides is really guided, and anybody who goes astray has nobody to blame but themselves. Today is a Friday, the second day of Safar, 1445 years after the hijrah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, which I believe corresponds with the 18th day of August 2023. Imam Bukhari and Muslim narrate a hadith from Abi Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, where he said a man came to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam and then he said, Ya Rasulallah, man ahaqqu nasi bi husni sahabati. He said, Ya Rasulallah, who is the best person to enjoy my best companionship? Who is the person who deserves my companionship the most? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Ummuk, your mother. He said, Thumma man, after her, who else? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Ummuk. He said, Ya Rasulullah, I've heard you twice. You said, my mother, my mother. Who next after her? He said, Ummuk, your mother. And then he said, Ya Rasulullah, who next after her? He said, Thumma abuk, then your father. The mother has taken the gold medal She's taking the silver medal. She's taking the bronze medal. The father will have to do a consolation prize with just an olive branch. Imam Ibn Majah narrates a hadith from Muawiyah ibn Jahimat al-Sulami, where he came to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He said, Ya Rasulullah, I intend to go to jihad with you, Ya Rasulullah, so that I gain reward from the Almighty Allah in this dunya and the akhirah. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Wayhak ahiyyatun ummuk. He said, woe unto you, is your mother alive? He said, Naam ya Rasulullah. He said, go and then deal with her. Go and live with her. Go and be a companion to your mother. That's better for you than you going out for jihad fi sabilillah. Muawiyah said, I turned to the other side of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, Ya Rasulullah, I want to join you for jihad fi sabilillah. The Prophet repeated to him, is your mother still alive? He said, Naam ya Rasulullah. He said, go back to her. Muawiyah said, I wasn't satisfied. I turned to the other direction and said, Ya Rasulullah, I want to join you for jihad fi sabilillah. The Prophet repeated, is your mother alive? He said, Naam ya Rasulullah. He said, go back to her. Muawiyah said, I came to the front of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya Rasulullah, I want to go to jihad with you. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, is your mother still alive? He said, Naam ya Rasulullah. He said, Ilzamha, go and serve her. Al-luzum, meaning to be with someone, be with a person that there is no separation between the two of you. Go and be with her. Go and serve her, because Jannah is there at her foot. In the riwayah of Imam al-Nasai, he says, go and serve her, because that is where your path of Jannah is. This is the position of the mother in Islam. How well are we treating our mothers? Even if we do not add anything to this khutbah today except these two hadith, it is enough for us. How well do we live with our mothers? How do we engage with them? It don't matter even if they are not Muslims. The position of the mother in Islam is her position irrespective of whether she is a Muslim or not. It is reported that Abdullah ibn Umar, during Hajj, a man from Yemen came and then he asked Abdullah ibn back from Yemen to Mecca, a journey of more than 1,000 kilometers. She was on my back. We came to Mecca. I carried her on my back for tawaf. I carried her on my back for sa'i. I carried her on my back to Mina. All the rites of Hajj. This woman is on my back. Abdullah ibn Umar, my question is, have I been able to pay her back anything that she has done for me? Have I been able to do something? What have I been able to do for her? Abdullah ibn Umar says, if your mother had only 10 painful screams when she was giving birth to you, only 10. 10 of that. And we take one of the 10 and we split it into 10 different parts. You've not paid her one out of that. He said, go back and just continue serving her. You can't pay her back. There's nothing you can do to pay back the old woman. If your mother is alive today, Hani alak, good news to you. If your mother is alive today, Allah, good news to you. The doors of your Jannah are still open for you. Like, let's go back home and have a better relationship with those women. We were in their wombs for 9 months. 9 months. Even with your wife now, when you see the changes that pregnancy does to her, even with modern day medicine, with all these different kinds of creams that the women will have to, rub on their bellies. 40 years, 50 years ago, 30 years ago, we didn't have those. Look at what happens to her body through pregnancy. She cooks the food, but she can't eat it. Some women during pregnancy, she will have to go to sit in the toilet because the smell from the toilet is a beautiful fragrance for her. In the night, she wakes up roaming around in the bedroom as if she is a mad woman. It's because you are in her womb. When you do not sleep in the womb, she can't sleep. And when you kick her in the womb, she feels the pain, but she's happy. Do you know why? Because you are alive in the womb. You will kick her. She will say, he's kicked me, and then she will smile. Feeling the pain. Can you imagine having two different contrasting emotions at the same time? You're feeling the pain, but you are happy. And with all due respect, see the privacy of a woman the way it is. But this big head of yours is able to come out. Even the path for you to come to the dunya is not an easy way. Today you're old enough. And even after giving birth to you, that is not the end. She breastfed you. She taught you how to talk. She taught you how to walk. She taught you how to put on your own underwears. She taught you how to put on your shoes. Today you can speak. And this power of your tongue, you do not have anybody to abuse with it except your mother. You have a big problem on the day of Qiyamah. You have an issue on the day of Qiyamah, Allah. If your mother is your punching bag, if your mother is the one that you disrespect the most, some of us have given precedence to our wives over our mothers. Wallahi, be very careful. The rags that your wife uses, when she's tired of those clothes, that is what you send to your mother. Whatever leftovers that your wife eats, that is what you give to your mother. Whatever your wife decides, that's what goes on, that's what happens. The old woman doesn't have any say in your day-to-day activity. The Secretary of State for your life is your wife. You are engaged in love. I love you. يوم يفر المرء من أخيه وأمه وأبيه وصاحبته وبنيه. I'm not saying deny your wife her rights. No. But then the rights of your mother comes before the rights of your wife. This is our deen. And we are not saying this to flatter anybody, because in life there is nothing like this is my ex-mother, but there will always be an ex-wife. There's always going to be an ex-wife, but there's nothing like an ex-mother. And you, my sister, listening to me, where you've received an unfeathered position in the house or in the family, and you don't have anybody to molest or mistreat except your mother-in-law, you will be paid back with interest. You will be paid back with interest. May the Almighty Allah safeguard us. The woman in Islam is not always a mother. She is also a daughter. There is a hadith in Bukhari and Muslim, I believe, or Sunan Ibn Majah, where the Prophet Muhammad said, Man ala jariyatayni, whoever takes care of two girls, he feeds them, he clothes them, he protects them, he is going to be on a day of Qiyamah like this with me. And the Prophet Muhammad brought his sababa wal wusta, that is the index finger and the middle finger together like this. If you have a daughter and then you nurture her according to the Quran and Sunnah, not this modern day fake way of nurturing children. No. This reminds me, yesterday we were able to bring our summer school to a close. And I had some observations for the 6 weeks that we're having the summer program. We had more girls than we had boys. In the senior most class, it was topped by a boy. But the girls collectively did better than the boys. I was happy, but I was frightened at the same time. I was happy that the girls are giving the boys the beating. But I was scared that what kind of boys are we going to raise and nurture to meet the standard and the level of these girls in terms of their ilm of the deen, in terms of their chastity, their purity, and in terms of even technical know-how of the dunya. That is a challenge for us today. There's a mosque in New York. I want to mention the name of the mosque. They told me, Sheikh, our girls are not interested in our boys now. And I asked them, what is the problem? They said the girls are now memorizing the Quran. The girls are now going to school. They are learning for a career. They are being responsible girls. And the boys are now becoming yo-yo and hip-hop and Hollywood. So the girls have this purity of Islam and Aqidah. The boys do not have it. So the girls do not have any taste for our boys now. That is what the Masjid in New York was telling me. As a community, we need to be very mindful of the holistic nurturing of the next generation of Muslims, and especially the girls. It's very, very important. Inasmuch as we must give attention to the girls, let's not forget the upbringing and the nurturing of the boys too, because these are the two groups that will come together to bring forth the next generation of Muslims. So if we are nurturing one part at the detriment of the development of the other part, we are shooting ourselves in the head and not the foot. Another point frightened me. In these past couple of days, we were going for lunch or snack, I forget, and two of our girls were arguing that who is better between Nicki Minaj and Cardi B. Girls who have come here to memorize the Quran. Girls who are here to study Aqidah and Tawheed. They had the jugular veins high. Their voices were high. I was in the office. I was hearing arguments. I was like, wait, what's going on? Let me go out and see what's going on. And they were like, Cardi B is better than Nicki Minaj. I was like, what? If the next generation of Muslim girls are concerned of what Cardi B is doing, or Nicki Minaj is doing, or Beyonce is doing, then the Muslim Ummah, we need to double up our work. We need to. It's not only about the hijab, it's about the hijab of this heart. So what is the nurturing that we give to our girls today? Mothers that you are listening to us, what training and what upbringing are you giving to the daughters in the house? Fathers, what nurturing are you giving to the girls in the house? Are you even around as a father? Or you think by just giving money, that is enough? By just paying the bills, that is enough? By just buying them the books, that is enough. During the summer class, I got to know a lot of mothers. I was a secretary, I was writing names, I was taking fees. I got to know a lot of the mothers. And I knew only a few of the fathers, because the fathers barely come. Fathers, let me tell you what is going to happen. When you absent yourself from the lives of the kids, whether they are males or females, when they get to an age where they have all this independence, you are kicked out of the equation. And then you later come to us screaming, my wife has taken over the house. She has been taking care of the house when you were not there, or when you chose not to be there, or when you were around but you were not around. You were there in the bedroom sleeping. You didn't concern yourself with the day in, day out activities of the kids. What madrasa do they attend? You don't know. Who is their teacher? You don't know. Who are their friends? You don't know. You are not interested in that. You feel because you've given them YouTube, you've given them internet access, that is the end. And then you are nurturing a non-Muslim in your house and you think you are nurturing a Muslim. The power and the purpose of the Muslim woman is something we must look at. There is a Ghanaian, non-Muslim man called Kweji Agri. He died in the 20th century. He said, if you educate a man, you educate an individual. But when you educate a woman, you educate a whole nation. When you give education to a man, you've given to one person. But when you nurture and educate a woman, you have educated a whole nation, because al-ummu awwal madrasa, the mother is the first school all of us attend. So the onus is upon us as people to nurture the next generation of girls properly. The test I gave to the kids on Wednesday, the last test that they had, 2 kids topped. The boy had 99 over 100. When I said 99 over 100, he scored 99 over 100. The test was this: write Surah An-Nas in the Arabic and then write its translation in the English. That's the first question. This boy wrote Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas, even putting dhamma and sukun and fatha and kasra. And then the second question was, we taught them Hadith Jibril, the famous Hadith where Jibril came to the Prophet Muhammad in the figure of a man. And this Hadith, we're treating it on Mondays and Thursdays. If you have time after Maghrib, you can come. And then I told them to memorize the whole Hadith. And that the text is going to be on the Hadith. And the question was, write the first 2 paragraphs of the Hadith from memory. This boy wrote the first 2 paragraphs of Hadith from memory, with even giving me shakl, writing fatha, kasra, dhamma there. His father is in the Masjid now. And the boy himself is here. The girl who came second, it was a female who came second, she had 95 over 100. When I say 95, she had 95 over 100. Her mistake was that Rasul, instead of sin, she would write Sad. So for her age, it's understandable. And she too, Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas, she wrote it exactly as I wanted it, and not how I wanted it, but how it's in the Quran. And the translation. And Hadith Jibril, she wrote the first 2 paragraphs, and her mistake was the sin instead of the Sad, instead of the sin, and some other mistakes. And for the boy, the reason why he had 99 was that Rukbatayhi, instead of Kaf, he wrote Qaf. And the girl, her father is in the Masjid here. I'm saying this as a source of encouragement for us. That the kids that are excelling, the girls that are doing well are not from Mars. Neither are they from Jupiter. They are kids within the community. They are our own kids. it means we can do it and we can nurture the next generation of Muslims adequately and with purpose. أقول ما تسمعون واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين من كل ذنب فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين ولا عاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله ما بعد. We're speaking about the purpose and the power of the Muslim woman. We've spoken about her as a mother, we've seen her as a daughter, and of course she's also a wife. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam istawsu min nisa'i khayra. Be good with the women. Brothers, some of the complaints from your wives is not good. I need to be blatant with us. Some of the complaints are not encouraging. Some of the statements that they make about you is not good. These are women that we've taken from their families. And we told them all kinds of beautiful lies. I love you. You are the apple of my eye. When I see you, my blood pressure goes high because I love you. You said all kinds of beautiful things to her. Now that she has come into the home, now you become a tiger. In as much as it's funny, sometimes that is the reality that happens in the house. And wallahi, it's affecting the kids because some of the kids come to us and they tell us that this is what is going on at home. I'm not happy in the house because mommy and daddy are always at loggerheads. I'm not saying it is their fault or it is your fault as the that's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is you look for the solutions to the problems that you are facing in the house. And sometimes as the man, you need to swallow some things. Women, don't clap for me. I will come on you too. Don't think I'm bashing the men so you are safe. I'll be on you in a moment. Because it takes two to tango. It took the two of you to bring forth that beautiful child. And so long as the teeth and the tongue will always fight, you and your wife will always have issues and problems. I always say this, marriage is like COVID-19. You discover cases every day. Marriage is like COVID-19. You will discover new cases every day. But then the most important thing is how well do I get up and solve that problem and move ahead? This is not a marriage class, it's not a therapy class, but then it's a reminder that وَلَهُنَّ مِثْلُ الَّذِي عَلَيْهِنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. Imam Ibn Abbas, one of his students came, he found him combing his hair, It's like, yeah, Imam, even you yourself, you're, combing and being. He said, don't you want your wife to also be beautiful for you? He said, yes, I also want me to be nice and handsome for my wife. Finally, brothers, our deen has given us some blueprint as to how we're going to live our lives with our wives, with our daughters. And even the women, Islam has given us a blueprint as to how to go by our day in, day out activities. We don't need to copy anything from anybody. In 586 AD, the Christian world had a meeting in France. And the discussion was that is a woman a human being or not? That was the discussion. And the people who sat down were big bishops and theologians of the Christian world. Is the woman a human being or not? In 1805, the British law in 1805, a little over 200 years ago, was that a man has the right to sell his wife, sell her off. And the highest price for a woman was 8 pence. 8 pences. Not even up to £1. During the time of Henry VIII, the British Parliament, that is around the 16th century, the British government said the woman cannot read the Bible because she is dirty. And Almighty Allah says, Ya ayyuhan nas, inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha, وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم. And then you think we can learn something from these people. Our women, you think we can learn development from these people. Our women, you think we can learn, civilization from a group of people who think or thought or agree that the woman is a human being or not. And they got to a point whereby they said, yes, she is a human being, but she has a spirit of an animal. I'm not making these things up. Go and do your research. And today the Muslim woman thinks that her success is in what these people teach her. Her development is in what comes from these communities. When she has the Quran and Sunnah, when she has the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Ummuka, 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 the mother gets 80% of the price. And the man has to do with only 20% of the price. And you think that your success, your development, your civilization as a Muslim woman is in what other people who were thinking that you are a human being or not. As a Muslim woman, when you do that, you've only sold yourself away for a few pieces. Finally, the world has commercialized the body of the woman. And this idea of independent, strong, empowered woman is all lies. Islam says, وَقَرْنَ فِي بُيُوتِكُنَّ. Stay in your homes. The men are in charge of bringing sustenance to the family. And they tell you that is a lie. You need to be an empowered woman. So you need to go out there and work. And who are you going to work for? You're going to work for other people. Spend the prime of your life. If you graduate from university at the age of 23, 24, you're going to work for someone until the age of 60. And then you come back home to who or to what? That is why they created old age homes for you, because you don't nurture your kids. You didn't put any rahmah in their hearts. Some of you women do not even want to breastfeed your own babies. You give them needle or powder from, I don't know where. You see, sometimes some of the kids, when they bite you, they drank the milk of tigers and lions in cans. Because you, the mother, refused to breastfeed him. You gave him milk powder from cans. Do you know what animals' milk are they putting in the cans? I just want to be mischievous, that's all. But all I'm saying is this. As a mother, as a woman, let me give you two options. Be a stay-home mother, nurture your kids, produce the next generation of Khalid ibn al-Walid, and Umar ibn Khattab, and Abdurrahman ibn Auf, and nurture the next generation of Imam Nuh, and nurture the next generation of these people. And then when you are old, these kids surround you and kiss your foot and provide for you and take care of you. Or you be a full-time career woman. You can choose to give birth or not. You can choose to use birth control pills or not. You can choose to get married or not, because this is what we are being sold out there. You can choose to get married or not. You can choose to do whatever you want to do. But then when you hit the age of 60, the industry no longer needs you. They will kick you out in the name of retirement. And then you come back into that old house, that lonely place, that you are the only one who is going to be there and nobody is going to take care of you. The choice is in your hands. We are the only ones who just give you the choices and we're going to tell you the consequences. I'm not saying we don't need career women. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying we don't need women in places that we need them. That's not what I'm saying. But then when we shift all our attention to one side at the detriment of the other side, then there is a problem. We need our women to be educated. Educate them on the deen and educate them in the dunya. This brings my attention. I've almost forgot. You know, we have classes for the sisters, right? We have Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for the sisters. And Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we teach them how to read the Quran, writing. I think 2 weeks ago, a Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm not really sure. I was teaching the sisters at the back, and some sisters came. They were at the door over there. They didn't come in, but they were disturbing us. They were chit-chatting. No, I ignored them. But one of the sisters there, sisters, sometimes their temperature goes high. So the sister was like, no, these people are disturbing us. So she went out and said, there's a class in, you can come and join. They said they can't join. Why? They said because there's a man in there, so they can't come. But he's teaching us. They said, no, it's not supposed to happen. A man cannot teach women. I don't know where they got that from. I know there are some cultural, limitations. But then don't make it the deen. Don't say in the deen a man cannot teach woman. What did you get that from? Where did you learn that from? Who taught you that? Say it is your cultural positioning that says men cannot teach women, but don't make it a part of the deen. The Prophet Muhammad goes with Bilal ibn Rabah to the women to teach them. And the women made a delegation to the Prophet Muhammad Ya Rasulullah, the men have taken all your time. Can you give us a specific time and a place where we can meet so that you can come and teach us? Aisha radiallahu anha had more than 200 students in the Sahaba and Tabi'een alone. And one of her famous students, Masruq ibn al-Ajda, go and read about him. Even her own father, Abu Bakr Siddiq, learns from her. And then we have Muslim women today. They say, no, they understand the deen, and the deen says that men cannot teach women. Where did you learn that from? Who taught you that? Where did you learn that from? There is Nafisa, who was asked about Imam Shafi'i. He was asked, Imam Shafi'i, and Nafisa was asked about Imam Shafi'i. She said, رَجُلٌ أَحْسِبُهُ يُحْسِنِ الْوُضُوءِ. Nafisa was asked about Imam Shafi'i's knowledge. She said, I think that man, he knows how to perform wudu. Imam Shafi'i, and Nafisa is saying she thinks he knows how to perform wudu. Imagine the knowledge of Nafisa then. And then we have Muslim women today, in the 21st century, where we have classes in there for women. She says, no, she can't come into the class because it is the man who is teaching, and she would prefer to stay outside and chit-chat. We have a long way to go, but that is not to mean that I'm discouraging us or we are doing bad. We have made a lot of progress, but there's still work to be done. The power and purpose of the Muslim woman is that she worships the Almighty Allah. She's concerned about her meeting with the Almighty Allah, and then she's also concerned about her rights and people's rights on her. And finally, to us the men, all this statement that we've made concerning the woman, you are the number one person responsible for the mother, for the wife, and for the daughter. If you do not take care of them, if you do not nurture them, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. It comes to you first. And the day the Muslim man loses his ghira, the day the Muslim man loses his protective jealousy, the day the Muslim man loses his attention and his responsibility. When the Almighty Allah says, Ar-rijalu qawwamuna ala nisa, it is not just a cap on your head, or it is not just a crown on your head. It is a responsibility from the Almighty Allah to you. So the moment you shirk that responsibility, you have a lot of questions to answer on the day of Qiyamah with the Almighty Allah. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا إنك جامع الناس اليوم لا ريب فيه. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه برحمتك يا عزيز يا غفار يا رب العالمين. قوموا إلى صلاتكم يرحمكم الله.